So my name is Darren Curl. I'm a stock development librarian, which involves maintaining the stock across all of Kent's libraries and look after things like the e-books and spoken word and large print. We also analyse all of the statistics in terms of how loans are doing and make adjustments in terms of where we think things go better in one library to another.
I'm Fiona Batchelor. I'm a Customer Service Development Librarian for the Maidstone District, so we call ourselves CSDLs. There's a CSDL for each district. Part of my job is to work with our colleagues in the Maidstone District to promote, develop, market, analyse what's going well in our branches and have all sorts of links with partners and various groups to have events and activities and all sorts really, and lots of training and development.
I've worked for Kent Libraries for 35 years now.
I mean, you're a professional librarian, aren't you?
Well, I have a degree, in librarianship. I came out of library school in Manchester in 1988, and my first role that I got was in Kent Libraries in Whitstable as a children's librarian. And that was great fun. But none of the things that I studied in librarianship actually I put to use when I got the job. You're sort of like thrown in and you think, oh my God, I've got to read to children. And when you've done a library degree, that doesn't prepare you for that.
So I joined Kent Libraries in, 8.5 years ago, which is hilarious because the likes of Darren will go, you're still new.
If I was to pick the highlights of my career so far, I did this whole thing inspired by, I don't know if there's a children's 80s TV programme called The Adventure Game. And it's like an escape room, so you're trying to get out of an escape room. So I did this whole thing in the hall upstairs with you having to choose a particular hieroglyph sort of thing, and then walking across a floor with pads. You had to stay on the pads, and that there was a glass tube with a key in the bottom that opened the cupboard, but you had to pour water in to get the key to come up to the top.
Sounds so cool.
And the other thing I would say was when we did a Doctor Who day in Dover, and we had a Dalek there, and I was inside the Dalek.
Oh my God,
so
jealous.
Scaring the living wits out of some children. We had one of the script writers from Doctor Who, the TV series, come along as well, and we had an audience thing where people talked about Doctor Who, and we won a BBC Raw Award for it at the end.
I think a massive highlight for me was the fact that during the most difficult times of COVID, I sat at home and read children's stories. All the publishers relaxed their rights, so we were able to read stories and record them and share them during the pandemic, which was absolutely fantastic. And I was getting comments to begin with my friends, because obviously they saw them first and went, oh, brilliant. But actually then they started to go, please send more, because my children really need these stories. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I just need 5 minutes, please. It was a way of us all kind of coming together online, and Darren and I worked together online quite a lot, and with other colleagues, to just keep us out there as much as we could in any way we could. And we obviously couldn't be open, and that was a real highlight, was the work that we did during COVID. We had a befriending service, and that meant a lot. I really enjoyed phoning people and just checking in on our home library service customers just to make sure that they were okay, and we were able to signpost them if they needed anything, and then we were able to get that home library service, which actually leads me to probably my favourite moment in my job ever, in any job I've ever had. One of my customers, when I was at Marden, he was a home library service customer, but when we were in lockdown, his phone number wasn't working, so I couldn't do the befriending. But then when we were able to do home library service book drops, I had to just go and check on him, and so I drove out to visit him, and he was just delighted. His phone number had changed, and he was just absolutely delighted to see that we hadn't forgotten him. It's just things like that, what the library service means to him and what that then means to us. I don't know, there's probably lots of other jobs that you might get that from, but it's certainly not anything I've ever had myself. It's really special. Yeah, it's really special. What we do is really special.